Hey guys, welcome back to whatever this is. And on today's episode, I thought it'd be interesting to explain my reasoning for picking up a Nintendo Switch 2 specifically. As I don't feel a lot of people talk about what my angle is. So let's get into it. Here's the original Nintendo Switch. The Switch 1, we will now refer to it as going forward into the future. As they've gone with the very marketable and very smart move, thank you Nintendo, just call it Switch number 2. It's fine, it's simple, it's not, what is it? Oh, I don't know, the 3DS. Cool, what's that one called? The 2DS. Cool, simple enough. What's this other one called? A new 3DS. Ooh, what's this other one called? A new 2DS. I usually refer to them as a new, or just did you need a new 3DS? Or did you need a new, or a new used? Side tangent, I once had the Nintendo rep get mad at me for saying Nintendo doesn't know how to name things, and then I asked her to explain it. She promptly stopped arguing with me at that point. But that's neither here nor there. Here we're here to talk about the Nintendo Switch. For me, I find the Switch to be an excellent console. Like, there's no way around it. Like, this system is going to be viewed in the light that the same as the PS1 is. It just literally has everything on it. Even if it shouldn't, a lot of the times they did. Which, amazing, also terrible, but also amazing that they even did it. And it showed just how good of a design it was and how much it has impacted how we're all gaming even to this day. As with the Switch specifically, I found that this is where you started seeing the random handhelds pop up. I have a few of them now. The little Android device that you have that maybe or maybe not look like a Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP. But that's neither here nor there. What I am here to say is this little guy did so much heavy lifting literally on how we interact with the video games and how we end up going forward. And at one point, I didn't think it would leave this much of an impact. Let me take you back to when this launched. And I know some people try to revitalize like history, and I'm like, I was at the storefront. I'll tell you what was going on. The console came out. It was really cool. The tech, incredible. You're like, wow, this is really good. It's literally a Wii U, but you're not attached to the house or the console anymore. Amazing. The launch lineup, kind of pee-pee poo-poo. It was not the best console games you would have wanted. It wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but when this thing dropped, there was the hint in the air from a lot of people, not really seeing the impact this would ultimately end up having, that this might be Nintendo's last console. I do remember I even had one regular at my store at the time. I don't think this lasted very long, but his plan was to get every single Switch game because he thought the console was going to fail that hard. So that's the energy that Nintendo was coming in from with the Wii U. That's how bad it was. And you're talking to a guy who clearly enjoys the Wii U. It's not the best console they ever put out, but I really enjoyed it. There wasn't a lot on it, but it was fun. That's what mattered. With this thing's impact, how it shaped everything, but to where it is now and how I feel about it at this moment. My main problem with this thing is I find for the most part, maybe it's just I've gotten too used to the PS5, I got too used to my Xbox, where everything was more instant loading. So after a while, I would kind of tweak what games I would get for this and what I would get for the console. If it was a long RPG, Switch, hands down, easy. If it was like more of an action game and I really just wanted to pick up the pace, we went console. We went on my PS5 or Xbox. because as this thing went along, there are some notable mentions of terrible games that I cannot play. And not terrible in the sense that the games are bad. Terrible is that they perform just awful, to the point where I can't play them. The main problem I have with Pokemon Violet and Scarlet is I cannot play them because the frame rates are so bad. And I mean, I cannot play them without, like, getting the spins. If I have an inconsistent frame rate, I'm out. I need the consistent frame rate. I don't know what it is, but my brain just can't handle it. So my view of the Switch 2 right now is I need it and want it more for performance upgrading. Because I always wanted a Switch Pro. I felt like that was going to come out, and then the pandemic happened and they changed the plan entirely, which I don't think was bad. But I think this OLED model was supposed to have some tweaks here and there, nothing huge, but like tweaks to just make the console like, yeah, plays a little bit better, plays a little nicer. Because there were games that came out in 2020 that really needed it. Ys 9, Monster of Nox is another one, where like you could tell this thing was just chugging. It wasn't the worst version of the game, because like when you got into the battle it was fine, but when you were exploring the city, for whatever reason, it would chug. It would just barely function. I know Ys 10 was a lot better. I haven't played it personally. I'm probably going to pick it up when Ys Nordics hits, but we'll see what ends up happening there, as I might just take this console, the Switch 2, and just go pure digital finally. That may be my first all digital. I remember having that moment with this console very early on with, it was Okami. It didn't get a physical copy in North America, but it did get one in Japan and in Korea, and I managed to get a Japanese version. So I do have a physical copy, but it's a Japanese version, which is fine. But yeah, this console, as I always put it when tech gets a little old, the upgrades I think are necessary. I think they're going to be very beneficial for a lot of games. Just having that extra headroom, I think is going to do a lot. And I know a lot of people are getting the console early, trying to get it, but apparently a lot of those upgrades are going to hit day one, and we won't have to worry about that for too long. But they will be a patch, which I'm like, that's fine. I have this if I really need it, but I will probably end up primarily just playing on my Switch 2. And for me, that upgrade is kind of what I've been wanting out of this console for a while. And luckily, it just seems like, aside from games that like Labo, where like the console's physically not going to fit in there, you can't play it on there. But like all the games are going to work. Like Mario has an upgrade, Mario Wonder has an upgrade, Kirby has an upgrade, Zelda has an upgrade, Pokemon has an upgrade. So there's all these games that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can go back and play them finally. Let's go, yes. So that's where I'm coming from with this console. I'm looking forward into the future of the Switch 2. I think it's going to be an all-digital console. I just really want to get this video out there and into the existence on my point of view and kind of remember where the Switch came from and like where we are now. And people are trying to say the thing's going to be a failure. There's no way this thing's going to be a failure. Considering the entire pre-order list, like, even if it just does mediocre, it's not going to do Switch numbers. I don't think so at all. But I think it's going to do damn well. Like, I'm going to pick up Yakuza day one. Easy. I always said, if they go back and redub them, I'll replay them again. I'll replay every Yakuza game if there's a dub. Just, I can make it more enjoyable, and, like, I can have people sit on the couch and watch it with me who are curious about the games. And, like, I'm not rushing to play them because I already know how the games go. But I love them to pieces. And that's the Switch 2. Am I going to get one? Absolutely. Have I already paid it off? Also, yes. I went to my old store, pre-ordered there. Luckily, I didn't have to murder anybody. There was all these big, long-winded stories. I just woke up in the morning, called them and went, hey, I slept in. Do you guys still have any pre-orders? And she just told me, if you come out the door right now, I can guarantee you one. I'm like, bet, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And then I had to wait like 20 minutes in line. But they had so many pre-orders, they even came up and told me I was good already. So I just hung out, drank a coffee, pre-ordered my system, went about my day. So I'm glad for the storefront for that, and that I did get one, and I will give you a first thoughts. It might be as a short, so keep an eye out on that. But that's it. That is where we're going with the Switch 2. I think it's going to be a really good console. I think too many people are just really negative on it. I just don't see the thing failing. I just don't. I think it's too big at this point to fail. You're not coming off of the energy of the Wii U, which is why I brought that up at the beginning of the video, is that you have to remember where we were when this one came out to where we are now. You're just going to have people saying shit's going to fail all the time. It's fine. People keep saying Microsoft's going to fail, but Microsoft just keeps throwing money at gaming because I think they just like the Xbox brand. But there's no way Switch 2 is going to fail. I think you're going to get some great games. I'm more upset about the cartridges. Like, I'm really disappointed by that. As you can tell, I really like physical games. I really like physical media. But if that's where it's going, like, I'm going to go as physical as I can with it. And if I have to download it, that's fine. I knew this day would come, and I figured Nintendo might be the last holdout, but apparently they're the first to bail. But anyways, guys, that's it for this week's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed my ramble of the Nintendo Switch 1, and remembering the places that the console was in 2017 to where it is now in 2025, when we finally get the upgraded console. And it's crazy where I was in my life when this came out and where my life is now in Switch 2. Passage of time is kind of a fascinating thing. But I hope you guys are looking forward to the Switch 2. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Anyways, guys, take care. Have a good one.